Look like what?
You don't look like whatever her name was. No, don't say it. We are live. We are live. All right, we are live. Listen, guys, we do a lot to be a part of you guys' life. It's a beautiful thing. We're in the Be More Black series. It's the 2024 iteration. This is our third iteration of the series, and I think it's just getting better and better and better. Where we actually platform Black people who are living history. And so that is so important because a lot of times we think of things are so far away, but if you're Black in America, you are creating history daily. It is not the easiest experience, but we can handle it. God gives the best people the hardest work to do. So that's where we are. So listen, I am in beautiful South Carolina. I have my quarter plane, and I'm in another state. I'm down here with Mama Box, and we're gonna make this thing go. And you guys, I'm telling you, what we do to be in your screens or in your phone, you don't even know it, but it's such a privilege and a pleasure being here. I'm Queen. I'm a host at BLaKBoXX Radio. We are a multimedia platform, a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We platform Black people, we expose Black genius, and we humanize the Black experience. That is our goal. Our intentional and authentic goal is to be Black, center Black, and talk about our experiences from an authentic place. That's what we do 6 to 7 times a month. Check us out on BlakBoXXRadio.com. We got a fly website. Hit us up. It's lit. Hit us up on, if you want to talk to us, BlakBoXXRadio@gmail.com. Please leave us a comment. If you want us to come out, whatever, communicate with us. So, and please like, share, subscribe. Remember that. Like, share, subscribe. And another thing, Facebook. Let me talk about Facebook a little bit. I stay in jail. I am a lifer in Facebook jail for sure. So please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch us on YouTube because it's very hard. Facebook, some days you see us, some days you don't. So YouTube is a constant presence. So please subscribe to our channel. So listen, enough of that. It's business time. It is business time. Excuse the background noise, guys. This is my mother's house. I can't control the environment. But anyway, this is the Be More Black series, and we have someone who I can't even put in words how happy I'm to have her. We got to talk about this it's not a new industry. Let's be clear. It's an industry that's getting legalized. Let's talk about that. We're going to talk about cannabis, the utility of, the blessings of the municipal purposes of, and just it being very present in legislators right now. You look around the country, they're looking to legalize marijuana in a lot of states. We live in Maryland, and baby, it's legal. And so my sister here, who is a creative, she creates, that's what she does. Let's welcome Marissa Stone. Say hi to the people, sis.
Hey, Queen, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here tonight. It was been just a pleasure just connecting with you and building with you. And, I'm a community person, if you will.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people like know Marissa, but Marissa doesn't get a chance to really get to know people. So when I do, it's just such a blessing. And, you talk about Black genius and Black excellent. And,
Yes.
I believe, that we operate within this ecosystem. And when you hang out, I have the pleasure and the blessing to hang out with some of the most prolific change leaders in Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
that many of them sit on the Living Wells Brain Trust.
Mm.
And so one of our Brain Trust members is a creative, he's a futurist, etc., Jason Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Jason introduced me to you, I was like, oh, I know she fire. Like
I love it.
I know she fire. So I'm honored and I feel blessed. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And Marissa, you've been in Baltimore, just laying down jewels all over the city, and you've given people platforms in the community. So it is time for us to give you some roses, to
Thank
put you on a platform. And not only that, sis, you're still creating. She never stops, guys. Trust me, she never ever stops. So someone said no sound. I don't know. She's in California. You can hear me, right? If y'all can't hear me, say something. Um, I got Can you guys hear me? Please say you can. So we got Mama Bean here, the Bean Queen. you, Sister Eula McDowell. That's the
Hey, Eula.
yeah, the Bean Queen. She's in the house, and okay, so they can hear us. They can hear us. So
Okay, good.
the biggest thing,
Oh.
I love this. This is real, guys. This is what you see. Real right here. This is real. So listen, I want you to first kind of tell us who you are, where you're from, how'd you get to Baltimore. Give us a little backstory on Marissa.
Yeah, so I'm actually from the DMV, but I feel like I hold this duality. My parents were born and raised in Baltimore City.
Oh,
And so, most, if not all of my family live in the Baltimore area, Baltimore City. I have this duality because if people know, Baltimore and the DMV, like they don't bang, right? So, and never have. And so, Baltimore people always talking shit about DC people, and DC people
real talk.
about shit about Baltimore people. So I sit in this duality, right? Because I bang for Baltimore. I grew up over West. My grandmother lived over West. And, both
Really?
my grandparents on both sides lived over West, my cousins. So, I remember growing up, coming to Baltimore for the summers and holiday breaks. And, my aunt lived on Bonner Road, and she had 9 girls. And so I was the bonus one. I was the bonus kid. And I
9?
remember, yeah, she had 9 girls. And she, I remember, hanging out in Liberty Heights, etc. But at the same time, I grew up in the DMV. I'm a PG County girl, right? So I grew up all around in DC and around DC. And so, my mother, she grew up, my parents, grew up in were born in the 1930s.
Okay.
Grew up in Baltimore, during a time that we know that, racial covenants, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Redlining was very real. There was
Very real. Yep.
a lot of, extraction of wealth in Black communities, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I understood, that my mother was like, I want my children not to grow up with the same experience. My mother was a dark-skinned woman, you know what I mean,
Really?
in the 1940s and 50s. So please be clear, you know what I mean? I remember
Yes.
her talking about, the NAACP. She said, it's the National Association for the Advancement of Certain People.
Ooh,
And so, we have to understand,
I
our
love it.
parents' experience,
Yes.
in these cities. These were still belt cities.
Yes.
So I actually grew up. My father was career military. Grew up, Andrews Air Force Base, and then right in Prince George's, District Heights. I'm a PG County girl for real.
Yeah, look at you. You
Central,
do have a duality.
if you know. So I say I'm a PG County girl with a dash of Baltimore. Like, don't get it twisted.
Well,
So
let me get it right for you. You're a Bmore with a dash of PG County. Let's get
right.
it right.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. So I decided, years ago, like this is, early 2000s when the DC housing market was just out of control, that, I
Mhm.
wanted to make a decision, to kind of be put, because I was very much involved in the arts and culture community in Baltimore, and I was always here doing stuff. But then,
Yes.
my, DC people would be like, hey, we're going to be hanging down at Holgate's. So then, so I was doing this back and forth thing. And then I decided that I really wanted to, put my foundation in Baltimore, where I love. Like, I have, root there.
Yeah.
My ancestors are in the dirt in Baltimore. So, I took that step where, my DC folks was like, "You're moving to Baltimore."
Don't be talking about my
Like I had just dropped to the lowest life form, and I was like, "Yo, y'all need to stop believing what you see on the wire. That's not all of Baltimore. It is Baltimore, though.
Mhm.
So let's be real clear. So we have, the tale of two cities, and
Yeah. I
you know,
haven't seen The Wire because I don't want
that's
anyone's depiction of
that's
my
a
Bmore, but I know that like every city, it has violence issues,
yeah,
it has drug issues, but understand that a lot of these issues are intentional. and they're set forth in certain areas, and then the crime commenced because of the lack of, and then you have a lot of chemicals in play. So yes, I'm
So
sure The Wire demonstrated that.
there's a lot of dynamics in Baltimore, but I said it
Yep.
to say I love Baltimore. Baltimore is, very much a creative city. It's a city with a lot of history. We were a port for our enslaved ancestors, and
Yep.
you can see the leaving their mark. You can see the African and Dinka symbols in the wrought iron in Baltimore.
Absolutely, you can
We
see that.
have to understand that these churches that were built, in the 1800s of this big, like marble,
Yes.
those folks were, taken from African communities that were stonemasons, and
Yep.
they were, you know, people who worked with metal, right?
Yeah, metallurgy and yeah.
Right. So you can see that, you can feel that in Baltimore. But
Exactly.
Baltimore also has been a place of resistance, if you will,
Ooh.
right? And unfortunately watched, during the crack epidemic. I'm that age, right? That, I was, teenager and in my early 20s, during the 80s, right?
Mm.
During the crack epidemic. And I watched those same neighborhoods over West and East, if you will, that were primarily working class neighborhoods
Yeah.
in Baltimore shift.
Yep.
And I watched the crack epidemic, not only, take those I didn't know, but those who I did know that were, my family members.
Yeah.
And I felt like it had a profound impact on me. And so,
Mm.
I started, my, people, they are like, okay, what do you do? So my vocation is that I do management consulting or nonprofit management consulting,
Okay.
and I'm, very much steeped in this racial equity work. But
Absolutely.
this is not new to me. I don't have a certificate. You know what I mean? I was doing this stuff when it was cultural competence and diversity, and doing change management work. So I feel very blessed that I have that cachet. So I spent a lot of time working for a national funder. So I have that lens of how funding works for nonprofits. I also worked in the academy and in education, and spent a lot of time in a lot of different kinds of organization. And one of the things that I found in this journey is that, especially back in the day, like I started in the early 90s of working, doing nonprofit management consulting. And one of the trends that I saw was that many people that look like us, because we're the ones who are working in service of helping people. That's what we do,
Absolutely.
you know. Um, we lacked a level of agency in our work and in
Mm.
our mindset, just our sense of agency, right? It's that, these organizations did not have resources to train us and to develop us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're left out of there, kind of like stuck,
Yes.
in these jobs.
Yep.
And I always say to folks that never, ever, ever have I been in a situation where I'm on a hiring panel, and there's never been a situation where someone has asked the applicant, did your job send you to training? That just doesn't happen. Your
Really?
resume, your dossier is about you. Now,
Hmm.
I also understand with, my experience of working in and out these organizations, doing organizational development work or change management, that our success on the job in our careers often has less to do with our skills, knowledge, and ability, and more to do with our ability to identify and to negotiate racism, to
Yep.
identify and to negotiate the culture.
Yep.
We spend a lot of time, right, in these organizations in survival mode. And so, I always had this vision of, creating safe space, a brave space that I don't need your permission, like to do something. Like I'm gonna do it on my own terms. And I worked for the University of Maryland. I'd spent probably over 20 years at UM. I did 10 years there, and I spent those 10 years on the academic side of the house. Go ahead, Queen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay,
go ahead. Yeah, so you said you was at University of Maryland for 20 years, so you saw a lot of
over 20 years. But I left and came back, and I went back on the administrative side of the house in University of Human Resources, where the policies are.
Okay.
And you get to learn and see how racism is held in the policies of an institution, right? Racism was held in the DNA. DNA, right? I see you want to take a break?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
So what, you know what? Racism is baked into everything in this country. We know this. And the precursor to it is policy and law. So this is how they establish it and keep it going, unfortunately. And so we see this in everything. So the institutions that is created the same way. So and that's what we see across the board. And and we as Black people, we exist in that. This is Black History Month. We exist in that, and we still create. We still find spaces to be great. And that's what I've seen you do over this time. Like, listen, you have created, you worked in these agencies, and then you come out and you create spaces for creatives. And that's what we have to do. We have to pull each other up. And you've done that. And now what everybody wants to hear is what you're doing now. The Black
so I am,
the Black Canni. That's what everybody want to hear about.
So I'm the Director of Innovation for the Living Well. We are Center for Social and Economic Vibrancy. We're devoted to soulful expression and conscious expansion and optimal wellness. Soulful expression, conscious expansion, and optimal wellness.
Oh, I love that.
So as a Director of Innovation, my job is to innovate. And so, in July of 2023, cannabis became recreational cannabis had become legal. It was already legal in terms of medical marijuana.
Yep.
And so, what does that mean? What does that mean for us? This is, cannabis, weed, marijuana, whatever, trees, we can call it whatever, flower, has been used as a tool, an apparatus, right? To basically enslave in many ways our community. Black folks and Black communities have been disproportionately impacted by the scheduling of marijuana, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So many of our, people have gone to jail, right? For marijuana. And so, as it relates to the war on drugs won.
Yes.
Let's not get it twisted.
This
is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
But they're still in jail. That's the thing about it, is we're legalizing marijuana and people are still in jail for actually selling marijuana. We have to look at that. The federal issue and the state issue is a different movement. So a lot of people are still in jail as we are enjoying it recreationally. You know what I mean?
So this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, which Blacks represent less than 2%.
Oh, wow.
In the business. And so the Black Canni is, for me, is about, reparations, if you will. It's about redress, right? It's about equity. Now, we hear this term equity this, equity that. Equity shows up in our pockets at the end of the day.
You better know it.
And so, when we talk about equity, Maryland just, recently, opened up their social equity applications for a what would they call a mini application, if you will, for a license would have been like $1,000, and then for the regular social equity application would have been like $5,000. So not many people, that want to get in this game, have those resources, and it also was a lottery.
So Maryland has some issues because when they first gave out the licensure, it was no Black ones.
Right.
Yeah, there were no Black ones approved. So they had a case against them they started a new industry and started with discrimination. So I know so that was an issue for a minute. And so now they have this price on that people can't afford. So it's like it's always a gate. There's always a gate.
So right, and so to that point, the Black Canni is really about just creating space, right? Creating immersive experiences, and so we had our inaugural, if you will, 2-day conference, and it was in October, and it was very dynamic. We started with comedic yoga, and we did libation, and we had Davon Love talk about reparations, and we have a medical doctor talk about what they knew and understood about the cannabinoid system, right, and how it could be used for healing, right, and that how that got disrupted with pharmaceuticals. We had the Maryland lawyers, volunteer lawyers come and do the expungements, to your point. And then we had a grow session, and it was interesting. I was sharing with you just the other day, we were talking about this. I was, responsible for making sure all these mechanics are working. And so we had a guy that, came and he was like, I'm going to do the grow session. This is what he does. And so he had given me the list of everything to do, and I had dropped the ball, and I forgot to get the seeds. So this was like Thursday, the conference is Saturday and Sunday, and there was no seeds. So my boy from out in the Bay, he came in town to speak, and I said to him, I was like, where can I get some seeds? And he was like, well, let me call my boy and let me see, what I can do. Maybe they can overnight some. So the guy, we called him, he was out in the Bay, and he says, I'll make sure you guys get them for Sunday. And I said, perfect. Like that was done. And so I get an email from this guy, and it says, I put the seeds in your mailbox. And so in my head, I'm thinking, of course he got the notification that the package was delivered. You know what I mean? And he put it in my box. And so that's what I thought. But let me just tell y'all, that brother flew those seeds in here from California. I was blown away. He brought us 2 boxes of seeds. Now, because
wait a minute, hold up. You're moving too fast. Hold up. So you're telling me that this man that you called on Thursday got on a plane from California and brought the seeds to you in Maryland?
mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now let me say this, and I was like, okay, so he brought 2 boxes, right?
Yes.
And per pack, they come maybe like 4, maybe 5 seeds in a pack.
Mm-hmm.
Each pack is like $40, $50. So when I saw how much the seeds were, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know how much seeds were. Because back in the day, if you got cannabis weed, you had to clean it. You had to literally like clean.
Look at you telling on yourself. Look at you telling the habits.
Yeah,
You gotta
so
clean.
you had, I'm talking about old school, right? This
Right.
was old school. Usually you got a shoebox top, right? You grinded it a little bit, right? And then you took a card and you let, the weed and the seeds roll out. There was like a whole skill, like this whole art to that. Anyhow.
Wow, I never knew about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that, them seeds would like pop and burn your clothes and your seats and your cars, but you don't see that anymore. Anyway.
Because nothing has seeds anymore. Fruit.
I digress.
Nothing around here has seeds. Fruit, nothing.
So I said to the gentleman, I said, do you want me to sell these, right? And he was like, no. He was like, I really believe in what you're doing. He said, it's so important. And I really just wanted to come and support.
So he donated the seeds.
Yeah, he donated the seeds, right? And so I was just like crazy. And so we had like, folks come and talk about, the process of, this business, understanding this business. And from there, the Black Canni did what it was supposed to do, because I know for a fact people have told me that they are doing business to business. We had a couple, the Farrakhan's, come. They are cannabis pharmacists. They are pharmacists. And they are cannabis pharmacists. And they did a session that was really interesting on dosing, like, saying like, you don't have to burn and explaining to us that burning weed, smoking really changes the chemical compounds of the weed, right?
Ooh, wow.
And so they were showing you how to do these dabs. They were showing you how to use other mechanisms, right, to ingest, right? There's, not just like eating edibles, but ways in which you can dose that's not burning. They were so interested, but I know that they have also connected with many people and got, consultations. People wanted consultations. We had a brother who came, his name was Tim. He came and talked about psilocybin and that are shrooms, right? And I didn't know that shrooms were so popular.
Me neither.
Most
I didn't know that.
In the
But they are very popular.
very popular, and from what I understand, I've been told that a lot of growers are saying that they're not even growing cannabis anymore, that they're growing shrooms.
Whoa.
Because there's no scheduling around shrooms.
Got it.
Right. So, so the Black Canni started there. Then, we, did a field trip to a private dispensary in DC, which was amazing. And the owner of the dispensary really, spent some time, talking about he was really an apothecary, right? Which was really powerful. So, this is not just about smoking for the, psychoactive properties. This is about healing, right? This is, many people have been using cannabis, for pain management or anxiety management. And, I would like to say that, baby boomers, such as myself, we are the number one users of cannabis, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So, and why? Because we have the most experience with it, right? We've been, using cannabis since we were, kids, basically. And then now we're at an age where a lot of our health conditions, are, cannabis is a complement to.
Yeah, it's a complement. It's a municipal, health pain management in a lot of ways.
Right.
Yes.
So with that being said, I think that it's like important for us to be educated, because unfortunately, because I'm immersed in this culture, not only from just the, the consumption side of the house, but studying, right?
Right.
So, I understand that, most of my contemporaries don't know the difference between a sativa strain and a indica strain, or like they don't even know what that means. I have a quote, I think that you use, that this is not scary dude on the corner anymore, right? This is not, scary dude on the corner. This is, their delivery services. And when the people show up, they know their products.
They do.
So, there's apps. There's my app that I love to use is Leafly, right? And Leafly, is an app that, basically it's, a portal for information about cannabis, but you can look up strains and reviews, where you can look at reviews and you do reviews. So if I'm purchasing whatever, I'm a sativa person, and so when I
tell everyone what sativa is, like some people are not that, they're not that well versed. So you said sativa and indica. So tell us what those are.
So basically, a sativa is more of a head high. You know what I mean? Like you're being creative and you're thinking and you're, where indica is something that's going to make you relax. People that are dealing with pain, that need help sleeping, would do an indica, right? And so that's the thing. We really need to be educated.
Sure.
About what we're doing. If somebody rolls up on you, you're trying to, score, some weed. You need to know what you're smoking, and you need to know where it's coming from. Have it tested, right? Yep. You need to be able to, have some information, and Leafly is a tool that you can use to do that. So, the Black Canni. So I just recently was named state director for the Maryland minorities for medical marijuana.
Okay, let's get a clap on that. That's what's up. Of the whole state. Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that, because really what that gig is about is kind of gatekeeping legislation. Trying to make sure that that legislators understand what the needs are, what's happening, being able to take that back to the street. And I think that, I'm very well positioned to do that, because of my footprint in Baltimore in terms of the ecosystem that I'm connected with. So I'm very excited about that. So, I've got, I was named by the Baltimore Sun,
Come on.
one of 25 Black Marylanders to watch for in business in 2024. So that was just, I was honored, and grateful. And I was, definitely had amazing company. The other 24 people that were named, a few of them are actually new.
Okay.
Um, and so I think that has given me some profile, in this area. And then, I was just so grateful that you were like, come on my show.
Yeah. We got to talk about this because I think a lot of times, when municipalities and governments, they set up systems around something that's been around for years, that is natural, that you can grow yourself if you really try. And so when they start setting up systems around that, first of all, it's lucrative. They won't set up a system unless it's lucrative. And then on top of that, there now is other things in play. You need to know where you can find out how it's sourced, because years ago you go to the corner, you can't ask the yachty boy where you got it from. You got to,
Right,
who
right,
knows where it comes from, So
right.
now we have a system here that's set up, because that's what when municipalities and the federal government and all of them, they're going to create a systemized movement around whatever the product is. They did it around our bodies, and trust me, they'll do it around weed. And
Yes.
so this is what we're seeing now. And so a lot of times you got to be kind of a little sophisticated in this game. It's not like it used to be where you just go get a bag and do what you do. You got to kind of know what you're getting, where it's coming from, and what exactly is it going to do to you? Are you going to be nodding out? Are you going to be up here talking? And so I think it was so important for a Black person to be in this space, so we can get there, because sometimes we're a little afraid and we don't trust easily. And that's not our fault. That is history. So having you there, especially now on a state level where you're actually looking at the policy, it's a beautiful thing. I love it. So I needed to hear about that. I need to hear about like what's going on. What's next with the Black Canni? What was the reasoning for you to go here? Because you don't just go from one place and then say, you know what, the Black Canni. How did you get to this point and say, well, listen, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm gonna really do it?
Well, as a cannabis consumer, right? I kind of felt like we don't have, say, well, the Living Well, we're known for, creating spaces for us. So it's not so far off the beaten path, if you will. Like, and
that's what you do. I want people to hear that at the Living
yes,
Well. This is what you do. Yes.
yeah. So that's what we do. And
Mm-hmm.
we have people on our platform that folks know, that are, cannabis users. And, it's nothing like, having a meeting where that's what you do, that's what you do. We're not, you know what I mean? We're not judging it because, people go to
I
work
like that. A safe space for the weed.
buzz, right?
Yeah.
And people don't know they buzz. Okay.
Yeah, safe space for the weed. I love that. I
So, I
totally.
mean, and also, we're creatives. So,
But creatives create in a lot of different ways,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and sometimes the natural movements around us is where the creativity comes from. When that comes from, it actually makes it on fleek. I would say it makes it more present. So that's sometimes the creativity is a good thing, but you might need a little push sometimes.
Yeah, so this is about, for our come from, this is about what we call immersive experiences.
Okay.
It's not, we're not trying to talk at you. The Living Well is about creating social and economic vibrancy, right? Social and economic vibrancy. So anything that we're doing, it has a social component,
Okay.
of building ecosystems and movement. And also, I always say social capital will always ultimately result into economic outcomes. So with that being said, what's next? So we have a
Well,
420
let me ask a question, Fred. What's immersive? Like when
immersive, like you're going to do something like,
I,
at our Black Canni, we actually had you in dirt, planting, right? That you are a part of the experience. So that's when we say an immersive experience. And so on 420, I think I put the your flyer up. I don't know how we could, share that, right?
This?
That is, yes. No, go back.
Go back?
That,
Okay.
yeah. So we're doing the Taste of 420. And we rented a commercial kitchen.
420 is Saturday, guy. It's a Saturday this year. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
This is from 3 to 7. I need to go back and put that, seeing it's not on this flyer here. So it's from 3 to 7 at a commercial kitchen. And we'll have chefs that
will be eating. So it's food.
That will show us, we'll do demos. If there's any chefs out there, please contact us. There's our QR codes, etc. So we'll have chefs doing demos, and then they will do a tasting, right? They'll sell whatever they're, doing for people who don't come to the demo, and others that are be selling, elevated treats and eats. And so that's from 3 to 7 on 420. So it's called the Taste of 420. And so the other thing, if you go back to that other slide, Queen,
yes,
I wanted to show.
No problem. Let's go.
So, one of the things that I think that is important is we want our community to tell us what they want, right?
Right.
So this is, we did a survey and we're asking people, this is the QR code, we'll launch you into the survey, is to say, okay, this is what we want. This is who I think you need to, hear from. I would like to speak about this, etc., so that we're making sure that we're community inclusive, if you will. And so I would, ask our audience if you could do the survey. Here's the QR code, and then also the information for the Taste of 420.
And so, I actually added something in the chat, in the comment. I added an email. I mean, not an email, a website where you can actually go and get this information. So you guys can go to www.livewellbemore.com. So it has information about the Black Canni, and they will be adding the survey. So please take the survey, because we got to make these experiences our experiences.
Absolutely. Live well, BEMORE. So a lot of times we think be more like the letter.
So also it's BE. So
yeah, MORE.
Got it.
So yeah, so I feel like I've been a talking head. Is it possible for we to take questions from
this is not see, this is the problem with you CEOs. You come in with your immersion and what let me talk to you for a second. Y'all, we gotta talk to her, because she in the box telling the box what the box is going to. I love it. No, we can't do that.
Like I've been a talking head though, that's all.
But that's fine. Listen, this is what this is. We gotta hear what you're doing. And number one, and number two is I'm in South Carolina, so we're in a whole different area. Right. So we can't do particularly what I would do I could do in my studio. So this is a different movement. So if you guys have a question, please put it in the chat. We have some good people. Let's give some shout outs. We got we got sister, we got Mama Bean Queen, Mama E.
Hey Eula, how are you?
And then we had on Monday, before I jumped a plane yesterday, I had Davita Bradford. She's a caretaker RN. So I had her on Monday. She's fire. Please go and see her conversation on YouTube, because she was amazing. And then let me see what we got. We got some Femi, the dry fish, that guy. Femi, and then brother Shaka Pitts.
Shaka Pitts. How about sat in the car?
Shaka said, talk about the album cover to strain the seeds. He said, we put something in. He said, talk about the album cover to strain the seeds. What does that mean? You don't know? Oh, okay, yeah, that's too much.
Talk about the album cover.
You're too much sativa. That's what it is. You can't get it right now.
Shaka. I had posted this video, this reel of, there was this brother talking about how his grandmother died, and the pastor talking about he wasn't gonna have to, he wasn't gonna be able to funeralize her. And that man said, I'll burn this joint down. He said in the daytime, and Shaka going right, because he said that his grandfather would sit in the car while she going to give his money away because she loved him. So Shaka, I just wanted to tell you, I thought that was funny as hell.
He's funny. And he has Shaka has a new show on every Monday.
Shaka is everything.
Shock value. Yeah, that guy is everything. Love Shaka. Definitely love Shaka. But listen, so when it comes to so is this something that you can move around because it's not legal in every state?
No, but we definitely, I just came from South Africa last week and did some research, talked to some people about an African cannabis conference there, and learned some stuff. My sister Love, who's in South Africa, she's Xhosa. That's her tribe.
Okay.
And she was sharing with me her pipe. She was showing me that when you get married in that tribe, in that culture, that women receive a pipe.
Oh, wow.
And, and this pipe has a really long stem. And she gave me this like whole history on the Xhosa tribe in the pipe and cannabis. And I was just like blown away, which, this is why I call the Canni curious, because literally I went and started doing research. So, I mean, I think that it's important for us to understand that this ain't new. This is not, this is indigenous.
Exactly.
Cannabis is indigenous, right?
It grows all over Africa.
And then also, even from like in our country in the South, like the South is known to be, a export of crops, right? Whether it be hemp or whether it be, tobacco, whatever. So, that was, taken away from us. So I went to South Africa, for Black History Month to study the aftermath of the apartheid movement, as it relates to my equity work around, racial equity and what's happening there, but also to, get involved in the cannabis movement there. So, it was very profound. So we're looking at moving it around. So we're looking at New Jersey. We've already been to New Jersey and, done a lot of due diligence there. We're talking about the Bay and Detroit and Massachusetts right now. So
are those all legal?
Yeah, they're all recreational.
They're all recreational legal.
Yeah, they're all recreational legal. And so those are the places that...
That's the problem with the South. It's hard to talk to the South now because there's no recreational legal. This is conservative.
So you can't it's,
South is conservative. Exactly.
So with that being said, and, as you and I talked about, we were talking about doing a seed trade.
Yep.
And so that's going to be one of our next events. And then also we're going to do a field trip to an actual grow farm. We're going to talk to, soil scientists, about like what it takes to grow. And also we're going to do a session around hydroponics.
Love that. So is there do you have a network of Black growers or Black people who are doing this, or is just you're going to anyone who's doing it? Is this a network of Black people?
We are building our platform and our network, right? That's what we're doing. We're building. So that's the point of the survey. We do, have some resources, but we also want more because the resources that we have are not Black led and Black owned, right? And so this is, why I'm on your show and, why we're doing the survey and, and also, why I, agreed to take on the state directorship for minorities in medical marijuana, because it's one ecosystem. We may have all these fractions, but, the Living Well, we've always, used what we call an open systems approach, right? So this is not about any competitive models. I would say that, unfortunately in our community, a lot of times, we are hashtagging community unity, right? But we're still operating from a Eurocentric ethos of rugged individualism and competitive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And because that's what we know.
That's what we know.
So, we are stronger together. And so the Living Well has always been a canopy for those individuals that are trying to, improve their craft or, to have a space or a place. And then also, I've been, investing in people's visions, right? And so, we've had a lot of, amazing stuff that has come out of the Living Well through that model. Nika Namdi, is an example of that. She was our director of community development. And, because my background in community development, it was just such a nice fit. And she's doing amazing work,
Amazing work.
that's fun.
Shout out to Nika. Amazing work with Fight Black Baltimore.
Yeah,
Amazing
and
work.
Fight Black Baltimore. We just authored last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year we authored a report that we've got amazing feedback on. It was called The Anatomy of Blight, where
I
we
saw
did
that. Amazing.
really participatory research. I was, that's my thing.
Because
And
she's a data scientist. When you got a data
she's a data
scientist,
scientist. And
yes.
so the Iona Concepts team, we did the writing and we kind of integrated the data. It was an amazing thing. And we created this toolkit, but, helping people to understand, like, what were the laws that were directly connected to, to redlining, if you will. Nika did the research back to the 1700s in Baltimore and showing every law and policy that extracted wealth from Black communities, right? And so, we got so many people that, have come out of the living well that, used that framework, for a platform, and, we're still rolling. And so we just, last year seeded a brain trust, and we've been doing
And
this.
what does that mean? Talk to me about your brain
So
trust.
they're thought leaders, in the areas of the arts and healing, right?
Yeah.
Development. We've got Gina Merritt, who's killing the game in terms of affordable housing development, right? We have Dr. Jerry Peak, who has, she's a social scientist researcher. I'm doing some work with her, and Nicola Norman, who is a healer. She's my community daughter, I have to say. We are doing work for Baltimore's Promise, the Baltimore City Data Hub, working together. So this brain trust is really about, how do we leverage this thought leadership, right? Andre Robinson, people may know or may not know, brilliant brother, actually co-founded the SOS Fund with Nika. So it's just an example of we're working together. This is not about, people's ego. This is not about, what I say, rugged individualism or being competitive within a space. That we are there to work in Ubuntu, that I am because we are. And so we won last year, the Living Well won the Solidarity Award, where we were given $50,000 of unrestricted capital. We also, I was...
Wait. Say that again. So you won the...
It was called the Solidarity Award. That a private investor looked at our work and
beautiful.
Us, $50,000 of unrestricted capital. So that was good. And then I won the Solidarity Award with collectively. So I was excited about that. So just the recognition and the work that, we've been doing and getting, and, national stuff that we're doing. That's really under the umbrella of, between the brain trust, right?
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about, this year. And I'm excited about the people that I've had the pleasure and the honor to work with over the years. I have to say, too, that, we're still running our Breaking Free Black Men's Healings men's group that is, run by brothers that are clinicians and a sensei. Doing that since, I think, 2018 now. It's called Breaking Free. Anne Arundel County has funded us to do that there.
We are a men's circle for healing men.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Right. And so it's, traditional talk therapy, and also mindfulness and movement. Brother Asar Winkler, who, people know in the community. And
Master Asar.
But we're also, we've been in residency since last year at Baltimore Unity Hall, which is an amazing space in Baltimore. So we have a space to continue our work. We started this year, I should send you that, I'll send it to you, Artists in Wellness. Last year we had photographer Sadi Kali. He was our Artist in Wellness last year, and he did a talk on the future of Black love. It was amazing.
That's what's up.
So yeah, so we are doing some things. There's some other stuff I don't want to, publish yet. So
Yeah, you don't got to talk about all the stuff you're doing.
yeah,
Sure,
so that just gives you a
we
little
hear you. We
sprinkle.
know you the bomb. We know you fire.
This gives you a little sprinkle, of what we're doing.
That's a sprinkle. I love it. Ooh, you doing more. You gonna eat us up. But we got a question. It said, "What is dabbing?" Brother Everett. Shout out to Brother Everett. They got a this week. I think his group UNIA. They have
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you because I don't think we have enough time for me to go into like all the
He
mechanics
said,
of
"What
that.
is dabbing?" He says, "I support the herb." Brother
Yeah,
Andy about to tell you what dabbing is. Tell a brother what dabbing is.
it's another form of dosing. Like I said, I don't want to. I'm gonna, we're not
So
gonna
it's
do that.
another form of dosing. So so kind of give us a little. What is it? So you dab the weed. I mean, what is dabbing? Because dabbing I think was a dance or something. So what is dabbing?
I have a book. I don't want to because you have to kind of start breaking stuff down, right?
Okay. Okay.
So, but I really want to. I'm just doing that to say that we have some other stuff coming. I want you to reach out, brother, and I want to invite you to some forums where we're going to do some immersive stuff around dosing and dabbing.
Because I think a lot of times people are now that it's legal, and they don't actually indulge. They're curious.
Yeah, this is for the candy curious.
Yeah, exactly. The candy curious. So it's a lot of candy curious going on, especially with something legal around. And in Maryland, you walk around, you smell weed now. I mean,
Yes, you don't have to smell weed. Like, I'm a cannabis connoisseur, but I don't necessarily want to be loud, as the kids would say.
y'all saw the portrait. Y'all saw the flyer. She's a
Yeah, that
candy.
was Sadi Khalid. He said we're gonna do a puff portrait.
I love it.
I was
Puff
like, I don't
portrait.
know. And that portrait was done some time ago.
Hmm.
And it was Queen.
I said, listen, we're gonna put this out.
I was like, I'm not publishing this picture. She was like, this picture is fire.
That picture
I
fire.
said, I'm not publishing this picture. She was like, you should publish the picture.
And what happened?
Oh my God. Like so many people were like, girl, this picture is fire. Right?
I told you. Yes, because you know what? It's the reality, it's the real of it. Everyone knows people smoke and whatever, but the real of it, the smoke, the way your head was set back, I said, oh no, this gotta go out to the public. They gotta see this. So I love it.
And Shaka, thank you for sharing it because Shaka gonna write, I know her. Hey,
he's crazy. That man is crazy. But I mean, that's a good portrait. I'm glad we put it out. Listen, I am so happy that you started this. I mean, honestly, because a lot of times we demify our young people and people who smoke and who use it for recreational use. But this is a process where you can learn more about it. You can learn about strains. You can learn other ways, the medicinal uses. You can eat it for wellness. There's so many. This is something that grows. God gave to us. It's not something that's made somewhere. It grows out of the earth. So we're eating plants daily. This is another plant. But the first, since it was scheduled as a drug, because the Rasta man, it was never a drug. It was a part of their lifestyle. They use it for so many different movements. But when years ago it was scheduled a drug, and then in our mindset we hear drug. No one when people think about alcohol, they don't think drug. They think, let me get a drink. When we think about tobacco, we never hear drug. All of these are drugs. Caffeine, you drinking coffee, you go to Starbucks, you're sucking down drugs.
It's sugar, yeah, and sugar.
Yeah, sugar is a drug. Caffeine is a drug. So I want us to dispel these myths and look at the actual plant, but also the system around it, and find out how it can help you, because there's tinctures, you can rub it on your body. It's so many different usage that with CBD is being extracted.
So I'm going to say that we have a session called More Than Just Smoke. And so that's why I didn't want to,
I like that.
It's called More Than Just Smoke. And we have our cannabis pharmacists. They come and they do that. And they show you, what dabs are, how to use different mechanisms, if you will, apparatuses for dosing that you don't have to burn. Burning is not necessarily healthy. It's not healthy. And that was one of my resistance for publishing that picture. I was like, I don't want people thinking that burning
Yeah.
is the best thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
My boy from out in the Bay, I just was very against vaping. And he was, sharing this oil with me. I'm going to share this.
Okay.
It's a pen.
Okay.
It's a disposable pen, and it's about the oil, right? And so he was like, this is tested. This is the things that we need to understand. But the other thing that why he wanted to share this particular pen is
Mm-hmm.
one of the sessions that we did at the Black Canni was about the business other than just selling cannabis.
Yes.
Well, there are opportunities that this could be something that I could, it's called white labeling, right?
Mm.
The oil is coming from somewhere. I am, setting up the pen with the oil,
And
right?
what does the oil do? You rub that on for, oh, really? See, guys, I'm giving y'all a demonstration. So the oil is actually in the pen, not weed, not the
Yeah,
leaf. In
we're
other
not
words,
burning it. We're
you're
not.
not burning it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an oil form.
Yes, oil.
Oh,
So the oil is, a sativa oil.
oh,
So what I was
wow.
going to say also, one of the things that, we had a session about is, cannabis commerce outside of selling the weed. So
Mm-hmm.
this is, probably came from China.
And can you refill that just like you refill
Not
like
this one, like you
nothing?
can't. This,
Okay.
well, you could, but it's a process. But what I'm getting to is that for people that may have a brand that they could white label this, I could easily put a Black Canni sticker on here,
Oh
right?
my goodness. And it's now yours.
Right.
Wow.
So there are different avenues in which you can get into cannabis commerce
Yes.
without actually being a distributor or selling marijuana, right? And so
Wow.
the Black Candy is designed for us to be an exchange, of resources and information, just like what we're doing, here tonight. So we, have a session called More Than Just Smoke. The Farrakhan's, they are cannabis pharmacists,
Mm-hmm.
and they break down and explain everything. Again, we are having on 420 from 3 to 7 at Our Time Kitchen in Baltimore. We're having a Taste of 420 where we have chefs coming to do demonstrations. If you are a chef and you want to, participate, here is the information. If you want, this is the QR code to attend, and this is the QR code to cook then at our event. And so we had to kind of come off of Eventbrite because they kept, putting, okay, you can't say this, you can't
Yep.
do this,
Yep.
right? And even
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of hard for social media for us to do that. So yeah, so that's coming up. And like I said, we're also, thanks to Queen, a brainstorm, we're going to do a seed trade because,
Yep.
seeds are important, right?
Absolutely important.
That seed trade, we're hopefully our seed guy is going to be able to come out, but we're going to have people kind of talk about, seeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do a trade. Again, we have coming up, we're going to do a field trip to an actual farm, as well. So we have some other stuff coming, but we want people to fill out the survey and
Please, guys.
the things that they want to do. This is not just about Baltimore.
Yep.
We're looking at Massachusetts. We are looking at New Jersey. We'll probably be in New Jersey first before Massachusetts. We're looking at Detroit, and we're looking at the Bay.
The
So,
Bay. Yep.
if any of your listening audiences have connections in those regions, please reach out. Also, can I give people my email address?
Of course. Of course. What is it?
It's Marissa, Maurissa, at livewell, BEMORE.com. Please, reach out. If you feel like you want to give me a text or a call, my number is 410.
Wait. Wait a minute now. Let me get. So that's Marissa at livewellbemore.com.
Yes.
.com, and this is your email. This is her email, guide, so you can reach out to her if you have some good information for. Because I have someone on here from California, Miss Erica, and so she lives in the Bay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah, but she's definitely she's one person that she shows up for me all the time. But I'm sure this is interesting because you're talking about where she lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And so if anybody wants to give me a call, I would say give me a text first. I'll answer. My number
One more second. I started talking. One more second. And your phone number
is 410
mm-hmm.
212
Mm-hmm.
5953.
212-5953. So guys, text her at this number and she will definitely get in touch with you. You know, this is how we spread information, guys. Let me tell us. We don't have avenues sometimes to spread information, especially if it's Black led or Black centered, or in some states where things are legal and not legal. So we need our own platforms. This is one. BLakBoXXRadio is that. We are, as I got this from Mama Marissa, the canopy. I love that. We're the canopy of information for things for Black creatives and things we're doing in our community. So as I put her email and I put her phone number. But please like and share and subscribe to this video because this has been a lot of information. Marissa, we've been here an hour. It doesn't even feel like it. But this has been a lot of information we've heard about. We actually brought Marissa from the back to the front. You know, she threw that puff portrait on us, and now she's a superstar, guys. She is a superstar, but she's becoming almost like a official on Cannabis, but not that the Black version, and being the state.
I won't go that far, but
listen, and Maryland, because we're just starting, and you're already the state director of minorities, so that's what's up. You know, and then you created this movement around it. And, you know, I hope to collaborate with you in some of these things. So I'm very excited. Marissa only said a part about our meeting. Let me break it down because, you know, my Black boxes, I always tell y'all the truth. Let me tell y'all the truth. So we did meet between Jason Harris introduced us. And I'm always looking for viable topics. I'm always looking for great people to be on BLakBoXX, right? Because I have to extend what Black people are doing to other Black people. We want to be that gap. So Jason told me who she was, and I know about the Living Well, but I never met Marissa. I always hear about her, so it was a pleasure to meet her. But then I said, well, you have to come on. But I said, well, you know, we're about 45 days out. We have, you know, we got a lot of people scheduled. And but listen, let's stay in touch and I'll get back to you. I said, but what are you doing? And y'all, she said the Black Canni, and it was Cannabis. I said, oh, we got to schedule for next week. I changed that up quick because this is not a conversation I've ever had this is my 4th year. I've never ever talked about well, first it's just been legal since last year. So, but I haven't talked about cannabis to anyone and not any Black centered movements towards cannabis. So I'm very excited for this because we need to be in industries that normally you don't see us in, and we're not being exposed to. We get in things after it's already saturated. So we need to jump on this. And you don't have to sell the actual plant. There's so many ways. And this sister is showing us how. So listen, go to Marissa. You can talk to Marissa at Live Well Be More. That's BEM.
Yeah, just hit me up. Just
hit her up because it's in the chat. Hit her up. Take the survey. I took the survey last night. It's a few questions, quick, to the point. Take the survey. The survey is going to make the experience more immersive. That's her word. I love that word.
Yes,
immersive experiences. So this is what Be More Black 2024. And what the Be More Black series is. It's a series that shows us folks who are creating spaces for us. That's just what it is. We got to create our own space. We've done this since we've been in America, and we continue to do this, is make space for each other. So, Marissa, I really, really, really enjoyed you. I thank you for all of this information. Show us your little pen again now. Let me see that pen again. So this is a pen, and it got light on it, and it's oil.
It's oil.
Oil. Wow. Oil. So you guys got a little live demonstration of some canny movement. So I definitely like that. So, Marissa, everybody leaves a jewel. So I need you to leave your jewel of inspiration to the people. Drop something on us.
Let me see. You know, I think it's important to vision, you know, to have a vision forward. You know, my hashtag is always vision forward. I do, you know, retreats on visioning forward. And my life that, you know, I've been able to create for myself was a vision. It was a dream. The living well
Mm,
was a dream in my head. When I was working in corporate America, I used to just sit in, meetings and daydream. I would literally daydream about what I was even going to wear to my studio, what was going to
wow.
happen there, right? And then move towards that vision. Every day, do something towards your vision.
Yeah.
But more importantly, take care of you.
Mm,
Think that is so important. I've been in this grind for a while. I have a consultancy, and we're grinding, and rest is resistance.
yes.
Trisha Hersey, there's a book called Rest is Resistance. And
Yes.
I think that oftentimes, especially Black women, we have this thing where we feel like our whole sense of self, in terms of who we are, sense of our self concept, is attached to how busy we are. Am I, on this committee in church, or with my sororities, and am I doing this and am I doing that? How many likes do we get on social media? Like, listen, folks,
Listen.
listen, stop,
Stop.
stop. You
Yeah.
know, the paparazzi, first of all, is not checking for you.
Ooh.
A, so I think that, we got to recognize that our values drive our behaviors, and, I'm not judging anything, in lifestyles, but, this work for me is about liberation.
Yep.
And, you know, we've got to recognize that equity shows up in our pockets,
Mhm.
and that we also have to have some, agency around, how we not only spend our money, how we spend our time, who we spend it with, right?
Absolutely.
I, for one, am always very intentional. When I'm at home, I'm eating black. I'm going to my friends' spots. I'm going to where I know, because I need my black dollar to
Yeah.
circulate in my community.
We got to do that.
So I'm just going to, leave you guys with this. If you had to ask yourself, how are you thwarting, if you will, success in our community, individually and collectively, right? How are you gatekeeping, those who are really in the work and in the struggle,
That's so true.
right?
Hmm. That
So
is so true.
ask yourself that.
We have to ask ourselves because a lot of times we are the group of people that help everyone. We give our money to everyone, and we have to look at our behaviors. I was just thinking about Black history, and people say, "Oh, we bigger than Black history." Da 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 da. But understand that Black history coverage when Black history started is because we had no recognition, and he wanted a week. And the reason why we have a month and it's so prominent in our national system is the monetization of it.
Mhm.
It is not to actually love on Black people.
Mhm.
Walmart is getting a haul. Target is getting a haul. Let's be clear. They
Yeah.
understand that anything that Black is very, very attractive.
Let's say
We have
this.
a culture.
And I will say this, I think it's important for us to really look at how do we wear our stripes of white supremacy,
Mm,
right? Because, a lot of times we are just ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And understanding, we all have stripes of white supremacy,
Yep.
but how are we wearing them? And how do those stripes impact others,
Mm.
individually and collectively in our community? And so I'm going to just leave you
That's
guys
like
with
6
that.
jewels. I asked you for 1 jewel,
Now,
and you throw 47 jewels on us. You see how guys, do you see what we're dealing with?
I
She's
say thank you.
she's an
Thank you
absolute
guys so
powerhouse.
much, Queen. Thank you. Thank you so
Marissa,
much. God bless
thank you.
you.
Don't go
God
anywhere. Don't go
everybody
anywhere.
the journey.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I really appreciate you. I just want you to know. And people have asked so many questions. They've been here with us. It's been a blessing having you here. You're going to come on again as you move forward with the Black Canni and the Living Well, because you're doing beautiful. You're dropping beautiful deposits in our community, and that's what's important is making spaces for Black people and creatives, and for us to all be great. And we have allies too. It's not just about Black. Sometimes we
Yeah.
have allies in other communities, and they need to see the best of our community, and a lot of that is what you're fostering. So for that, I say thank you and ashe.
Thank you. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Ashe.
All
I
right.
want to say to the BLakBoXXers, please subscribe to our YouTube because I'm a Facebook lifer. I stay on death row. So I'm in and out. When you send to Black people, they move your content around. So please subscribe to YouTube, like, share, subscribe this so the Black Canni can get out. Take the survey, give this lady some feedback on how she can make the experience more immersive. And please hit her up at her. I put in the chat her email and also her phone number. You can give her a text. BLakBoXX's week boxed up and out. Let's get them deuces, Marissa.
All right, thank you.
I get them deuces. Yeah, don't go nowhere. Don't go to Stimmer. All right, BLakBoXX's. Good night. I see you guys tomorrow. We have Henry Gregory.
He works with the Living Well. He's on our brain trust.
Look. Oh, you want to talk now, right?
Yeah, he's on our brain trust.
He is amazing. He is going to bring. He's a Black psychologist. He's been doing this work for a long time. He's going to talk about the Black psychosis. We're going to pull some layers back tomorrow with an official, with a guy who can tell us everything.
Yeah, he oversees our men's healing group.
He's a man. He's a man.
Living Well forever. I love him. He is a real healer. Yes, he is.
He's a beautiful man. And so, guys, bring some of the things you're going through to the chat, and we're definitely going to deal with that tomorrow. Henry Gregory, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Be More Black 2024. We are finished with our 5th voice. We are out of here. Good night.